one of the things I've thought about a lot lately is how, with the changes that we've experienced in society, how we connect with each other, how we communicate with each other, meet with each other, it's often taken for granted that people have the kind of ability, skills, and resources just to like form relationships, or that like already people came into the world with a baseline of healthy support. And there are so many people, as I'm sure you can relate, who didn't have that.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are lots of people, I think, whenever there's some kind of controversy that erupts around a public figure, where there's so many people who are like, this was like I didn't have like a healthy parental figure in my life. So
Yeah.
this person, kind of became that surrogate for me.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I had struggles making friends growing up. So like I was able to take comfort in this cast of characters that became like friends for me. Um, so I think it's important to have that kind of care and compassion for people, that instead of just kind of castigating them and saying, oh, like, why would you do that? That's so just gross, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
Of being able to go like, yeah, well, what how are people not showing up in your life, or how
Yes.
have, because also even like when it comes to a number of people that I've worked with when it comes to trauma, and there are a number of people who are like, people are scary. And they're
Yeah,
just like, the idea of having a close relationship to someone is horrifying, because what if I get brutalized again?
exactly.
And so I think it's important to think about that, of like, has there been something that's happened that has made reliable, trustworthy, healthy support hard to find? And
Exactly.
if that is the case, if that's why parasocial relationships seem so appealing, how can we help you to like get these really like strong, reciprocal, affirming relationships in your life, you know? And I think that's a
Mm-hmm.
broader question, not only on an individual level, but I think about how can we have the kind of social infrastructure in our societies
Yes.
again that make that more possible. Because I think, we've heard the news about the loneliness crisis, and
Yes.
about how people, particularly in adulthood, are like, how do I make friends?
Mm.
And so I think it's a broader question where it's like, how can we connect to each other again as people in real life?
Exactly. People are hungry for a connection, and this uptick in parasocial relationships or the intensity of it is a byproduct of that. And
Yeah.
so, parasocial relationships can tell you not just what you're looking for in real life, but what maybe you're not looking for,
Hmm.
right? Tells you a lot about how comfortable, safe you feel in relationship, and maybe is a clue to what you've been through in the past. So I'm hearing to have lots of compassion for maybe the people in your life who have strong parasocial relationships, but also for yourself.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
yourself, because I think there can be the assumption that people, just have everything that they need,
Right.
and that they just willfully are not accessing it. Now, is that the case sometimes? Yes. But I think when I think about, whether it be personal life experiences, or, any of the clinical cases that I've worked with, there are so many people who are like, I came into the world without the tools and resources that I would need to accomplish this, and there was nobody that taught me how to do this. So I had to make do with what was available, and how painful it can be when people are like, what, you didn't know that? You didn't know how to
Yeah.
do that? You didn't know that that was wrong? And it's like,
Right.
no, I didn't.
Yeah,
And no one
exactly.
came in with solutions. No one came
Hmm.
in with guidance or even alternatives. It was just like, don't do this, but then it's like, what do I have?
Right. Right. What goes in its place?
Right.